Again, you called play-by-play for the Boston Red Sox. You were there in 2004 when the Red Sox made one of the best comebacks in sports history of all time.
The greatest comeback of all time.
Yeah. I'm looking at your right hand right now.
Yeah.
What's on that finger?
2004 World Series ring, and I heard people say that, oh, we came back against the Yankees and beat them. That was so great. It didn't matter about the World Series. Baloney. If you come back against the Yankees and you lose the World Series to the Cardinals, that series against the Yankees means nothing. Maybe it means something to some fans who are just fanatical with their hate for the Yankees. But if you get to the World Series, you want to win that thing. And I'll tell you what, after they beat the Yankees in that American League Championship Series, they could have brought back the 1927 Yankees at their prime. Nobody was going to stop the Red Sox that year. They were a team of destiny.
Well, it almost goes back to the point when the Red Sox won, they were on this hot streak all season long, basically. They never got into that cold slump that people were expecting from them. Once they won 100 games, I kept saying, it doesn't matter how many games you win in a regular season. At this point, once you clinch the division, it's if you win the World Series. And it goes back to your main point. Well, if the Red Sox beat the Yankees in 2004, sure, but can they win the World Series? They did that. Now everyone talks about the greatest comeback of all time. One moment that sticks out to you most from that 2004 series, what is that?
Dave Roberts' stolen base.
Sports news, the Bulldogs traveled down to South Carolina over spring break and kicked off their 2019 campaign. They returned home with a record of 2-8 and will play their first home game next Wednesday at 3:30 versus Gordon College. Keeping things on the diamond, Major League Baseball has started up again with the Mariners and A's. The Athletics playing in the Japan series. The rest of the league begins play next Thursday, March 28th. And since it's March, arguably the best event in all of sports is back. March Madness is here. Fill out those brackets because tournament play began today. Top seeds Duke, I have Duke winning, and North Carolina are the odds favorites. But who will you pick, and maybe to see who cuts down the nets at the end? I can't wait.
That's all, folks. I'm Mary Jenny.
And I'm Alex Feuz.
Have a great night.
How important is Gronkowski to this Patriot team? He's dealt with a lot of injuries in the past few years with the Patriots, and especially this season. He's been struggling with the injury bug. I said that if the Patriots win the Super Bowl last year, that Brady and possibly Gronkowski retire. That did not happen, so now they're both back this year. But if the Patriots miss the Super Bowl or even win, is this Gronkowski's last year in New England?
I have no idea. You know, I think that he's dealt with his fair share of injuries and stuff. You know, he's working hard on the practice field. You know, he said there were reports of him saying during the season that, hey, he's not playing anywhere without Brady. When there were reports of his potential trade to Detroit, I believe it was. You know, I don't know. We'll see how he feels, how he comes back from these injuries that he's recovering from right now. But I don't think it's his last year, but hey, it's ultimately his decision at the end of the day.
Notice a lot of passion on the field and the big win yesterday. So how do you really drive that passion into these players? You know, I've seen a lot of teams, but not exactly something like that. Every single guy on that bench was so passionate about yesterday's game. So how do you drive your passion into your players?
Well, we appreciate you having us on this morning. Yeah, you know, you really want your team to have some sort of reflection of yourself out there. And, you know, the game of football has to be played with passion. It has to be a part of what you do every time you take the field. And that was a turning point win for us yesterday. That was a team that we were beating a year ago down at their place and, you know, let it slip away at the very end. We couldn't put them away last year. And that was our third conference win. That's one more conference win than we had last year. So for the kids in the program, they know that, you know, making a statement and climbing the ladder in the conference is important for a number of reasons. So it was a meaningful team win, and it was the first time this year where we were actually in a battle in the fourth quarter and persevered and found a way to get the victory. So there was a lot going on that field yesterday.
We've talked about the whole conversation in the last few weeks. I've interviewed President Rooney actually at the sideline of the homecoming game, and then last week we talked with Dean Drucker about the growth of Dean College. And I was here a few summers ago on a sports broadcasting camp, and that was the first summer that the football team went into Division III in the whole athletics program. So this whole transition into the Division III NECC, what has that been like personally for you?
you know, first of all, I'm very, very privileged to have the chance to be here during this opportunity. This is a great challenge for any coach to be a part of personally, and it's an exciting process. It really is. There is no blueprint of success in how to do this. So really, here at Dean, we're writing it as we're going. And you know, for all the challenges and that we've encountered, it's been tremendously rewarding to see the victories, to see us improve. You know, not just in our football program, but the things they're doing on campus and with our academics and academic support and the way that we have such tremendous support here throughout the college. It really is, what they call the Dean difference here, from front to back.
What has been the most challenging point for you as a head coach here at Dean College?
Well, retention and keeping our athletes here since I've arrived. That's number one. Getting a class of athletes that are committed to Dean College, that are committed to what our mission is here in Division III. I really have a belief that winning is as important as anything in life, and so I want athletes that want to drive toward that mission of success, that want to have opportunities to win championships and do those types of things. So, getting kids into the program here that are committed to staying here at Dean for 4 years and being a part of it, that's been our initial challenge.
The main new code word here at Dean College is there's nothing junior about Dean College. And that kind of goes back into what you just said. Dean College was a junior college for many years and now is going into that 4-year program where, Dr. Rooney and everyone else wants these students to stay engaged. And what's really your key point to, how do you keep kids engaged nowadays?
That's a great question, and it's one that's a work in progress. But for us, it's really setting a foundation, right? It's the mission of the program. Why are you coming to Dean? What's important to you? Is success important? And then it's the most important ingredient when you're a part of a football team. It's putting the team first, putting your teammates second, and putting yourself third. Building guys with that type of character, where the school and being having that pride in everything they're doing, it becomes most important. And when you get that ingredient going, then you have an opportunity to be successful.
How would you define the word selfish?
Selfish, when you put yourself first, right? When you're, we had a couple selfish incidents happen in the game yesterday, right? We lost our composure and we threw a punch, and that's it. That was at an opportunity where we had made a big play, and we're going to keep them from scoring probably if we don't get that personal foul. And it's frustration, but it's what happened.
In sports news, Dean College football is gearing up for the last couple games of the 2018 season as they play host to Castleton University at Dale Leppard Field on Saturday. Terrell Watts and the 3-5 Bulldogs are looking to finish the season off on the right foot. Kickoff for this weekend's matchup is slated for 12 p.m. This Sunday is also a battle between two of the best quarterbacks of all time and prime time. Tom Brady and the Pats welcome in Aaron Rodgers and the Packers on Sunday Night Football. This game has one of the biggest potentials of Game of the Year candidates, so make sure you tune in for kickoff at 8:20 p.m. on NBC. And just getting back to the whole conversation of greatest quarterbacks of all time, when you look at Tom Brady and you look at Aaron Rodgers, people always try to compare Aaron Rodgers to Tom Brady, but in reality, you just can't. Same thing goes. When Derek Jeter retired, everyone thought, okay, look, we're going to move in Didi Gregorius into that position, and how can you fill Derek Jeter's shoes? You can't as a Yankee. So just getting back to the point here is Derek Jeter, you can't really make another Derek Jeter, so let Derek Jeter be Derek Jeter, let Didi Gregorius be Didi Gregorius, let Tom Brady be Tom Brady, and let Aaron Rodgers be Aaron Rodgers. We get back to the point, we grow up with some of these greatest players of all time as a kid. We get back to the nostalgia factor in this conversation here, and I think that's one of the main reasons why everyone tries to say, this quarterback's better, and no. Same thing goes. Michael Jordan and LeBron James, everyone tries to have that conversation about, okay, who's better? Well, why can't both be equally talented in their respective ways? But it's a tough conversation, but I just ruined the whole debate about greatest of all times. But anyways, in 2004, 2007, 2013, and now 2018, the Boston Red Sox have done it again, defeating the Dodgers 4-1 in the World Series, earning their 9th title in franchise history. From February in Fort Myers and October in Los Angeles, Boston stayed hot all year long, and 119 wins later, the Boston Red Sox are parading throughout the whole streets of Boston again. 2004 was a miracle, 2007 was pure joy, 2013 made Boston strong, and 2018, well, it was just pure dominance. New York fell asleep. Houston had a problem. The Dodgers couldn't handle the pressure under the Hollywood lights, so to the best team in Red Sox history, congratulations, your damage is done. And it's getting back to the point, Mara, about just bringing in the whole conversation about teams, greatest of all time. You have to put 2018 Red Sox team up there and probably the greatest of all teams assembled in Boston. And it's getting back to the whole conversation about the Patriots possibly winning the Super Bowl this year, the Bruins possibly winning the Stanley Cup, and then the Celtics possibly winning in the NBA. And the Boston Red Sox already completed their mission to win the championship victory this year. So all four teams here in Boston have the chance to become champions in Boston again. So a great year if you're a Boston sports fan. So that's all, folks. I'm Alex Feuz.
And I'm Mara Jetty.
Have a great night, and we will be all seeing you very soon.
All right, welcome back here to Talk of the Town. I'm Alex Feuz alongside former Patriot offensive coach for Dean College, Sammy Morris. Sammy, thanks again for joining us today, and we'll wrap up right into the last segment here. Big win for Dean College yesterday. What was that win like for you?
Well, again, thanks for having me on as well. It was a big win, and as Steve, Coach Terrell just said, that was like the first game that we've had this year. We've had to like just battle, and all the games have been battles, but that was one where we battled. We started from behind, which we've unfortunately done a lot this year. Kind of dug ourselves in a hole, and we're able to fight ourselves back out of that and come out with the win. It was, like I said, I think it was a big, kind of pinnacle victory for us this season.
Mm-hmm. When you get down early in the game, what's the mentality you want to drive the players in early on to try to change that mentality early on as best as you can as a coach?
Well, I think the hardest thing, or maybe not the hardest thing, but the biggest thing that we try to, relay to the kids is that, it's a 4-quarter game, right? So even though you don't play, as you were hoping to play in the first quarter, you thankfully still have 3 more quarters and obviously a whole nother halftime and a whole nother half, which is what coach is talking about, where we're driving into the kids. We got to win the third because that's like the transition coming in, out of the out of the locker room, and we got to make the adjustments from the first half, things that went right, things that went wrong, correct those, and try to put together another half.
You played in the NFL, now you're coaching at the college level. What's the biggest difference you could really help the players because they're coming from high school football to now college football? And how do you really change that mentality from high school football to college football from a pro standpoint?
Well, personally, I think one of the things that helps me specifically is that that I have been a high school player trying to transition to college, and college transitioning to pro. And it's really just a matter that at every level, it's just the game is just faster in general. There's the game is faster. The coaching is more detailed. It's more position specific. So really, that's the biggest thing that I just try to relay is just the fact that, hey, I've been here, I've been where you guys are, and I'm made a transition from high school to college, and like I said, hopefully anything I can do to kind of share with you guys or share, and you really got to kind of share with each guy differently based on their situation or what kind of playing ability they have or whatever it may be. Really just identifying who you have as a player and then try to relate to them as best as possible.
I'll ask you the same question. What does selfish mean to you?
Well, again, so Coach Belichick has always said, that no one is bigger than the team. And I think that's really what it is when you put your own yourself, your agenda, your whatever you want to call it above the team's goal. Maybe not agenda is the word. You put your goals or whatever it may be above the team goal. And however that may look. That could be penalties. It could be just not knowing or not putting in enough work to know your assignment. Again, it just really it's kind of general, it's kind of vague, but it's anytime you put yourself above the team.
What was it like playing for Bill Belichick?
I don't know how much time we got. I don't know. It's hard to explain. So I was in the AFC East my entire career, or for the first part of my career before coming to the Pats. So I saw him from afar. And you hear, and then you play with guys that that came from the Patriots. guys that want to go to the Patriots. But yeah, I mean, it's I enjoyed my experience, and I mean, I learned a lot from him. I continue to learn from him. I don't, like I said, I could sit here, for another 45 minutes. So I enjoyed my experience. We'll say that.
Everyone talks about the reason why the Patriots didn't really get anyone at the deadline is because no one else wants to help out the Patriots. That's a running joke here. And, from a perspective player outside of the Patriots organization, what was the whole mindset about the Patriots before you played for them?
Well, and it's funny because everybody talks about the Patriot way, but the only people that say that are the people not in the locker room. You know what I mean? So it's always funny because you'll never hear Coach Belichick talking about the Patriot way unless he's in a condescending way, kind of But at the same time, no one in our building used it when I was there. But at the same time, everybody knows what that means. So it's and that's even across the field. It's kind of just the it's really just Bill used to always say a team is not just 11 guys running around the same uniform. It's the guys, that have like the same collective goal. They're striving for the same thing, and they're putting everybody else's, they're putting their own selfish things aside and putting the team goal first. And it's kind of really the essence, I guess, of what the Patriot way is.
Yeah, do your job is really the whole, point of the Patriots now. And how difficult is that driving in the mentality of a college level student? And, as a coach now, is it hard for you to get that message into these players' head? Is just, if you do your job, you're going to be very successful in life.
And I mean, I guess that's the challenge really of anywhere. I mean, whether it's, I've coached Pop Warner, I've coached high school, so, I mean, whatever it is, I think it's really just a matter of those 11 guys, doing your job, right? So if you're the left tackle, then you need to do what the left tackle needs to do on any certain play and not worry about what the right guard is doing or who he's blocking, but you just got to worry about who, and as a running back, you got to know your assignment and then kind of have an idea of what everybody's doing or know what everybody's doing, so you can best do your job. So again, and I guess that carries through with, I guess, in any level. It's, just really, getting the guys, getting the mindset that your job, even though professionally you're getting paid for your job, collegiately, I mean, you're getting paid, but, via education, but, your job, I mean, that's what, I mean, your job is necessary, or all of us doing our job is necessary for us to win the game or achieve our goals.
What was it like playing with Tom Brady?
Same thing. How much time we got? I mean, it's, he's a fearless leader. He's, just a great guy off the field. He's just kind of the guy that, I mean, everything that you read about him, he's, like I said, he's a great guy, great teammate, tremendous worker. Like I said, I can keep going on.
How would he keep the team together?
How would he?
Yeah.
Really just, I mean, through his play, just through his leadership, things that he does say, or, I mean, you could even say doesn't say sometimes. But it's really just a matter of, about his play, the way he commands the huddle, commands the offense. And really it's defensive guys, follow that as well. So it's, like I said, it's in terms of the team, I mean, it's not just the offense, it's defensive guys are feeding off him as well.
So in your opinion,
Sam, if I could jump in here.
Tom Brady?
In my opinion, no.